Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Nissa Aurellia Putri from English Literature B in UNES. I'm delighted to be here to tell you about how technology affects people relationship. This presentation consists of three sections. First, I start by introduction the main course, then focus of the communication of technology, and the last with the conclusion from technology. This presentation will take about 10 minutes. First, I start by introduction for the main course. Lately, we have realized how technology has taken over the power in society and has been able to change people's lifestyle, such as this development of technology at this time with the internet and its device. The creation of new electronic devices in recent decades like our life in some form to work around it because every time your function develops and successfully help us in your daily tasks. How technology affects relationships. Today, these common scenarios are made possible by technological improvement and the internet, which are accessible in almost every corner of the world. A society and the offers of internet. Nowadays, instead of walking kilometers to mail a postcard and waiting for days for a response, or instead of waiting on a payphone line while we count the money we have left, you can talk to those far away more easily and more cheaply than ever before. Undoubtedly, all of this ease of communication has come a cost. This cost has been demonstrated by several studies, see below, that have shown a linkage between social isolation, anxiety, depression, stress, and the offers of the internet technology, while correlation does not necessarily prove cause, still the relation between these two is worth taking seriously. The information age has rapidly changed how we conduct ourselves in business, education, and in general human interaction. Events such as mail, instant messaging, and social media were all created to make communication easier and more convenient. Families and friends across great distance can now more easily communicate face-to-face anytime they want. Dating sites successfully match thousands of soon to be spouses each year, and parents can more easily keep in touch with their children throughout the day. However, as society adapts to this fresh avenue of context, there are also ways new technology threatens to strip away important effects of how people relate and connect on a personal level. This can be especially true in our most intimate relationships. Here are three areas in which technology may negatively impact relationships. Intimacy. Intimate relationships often have their own challenges, and changing technology can contribute even more to the stress of modern relationships. Sometimes, the ways people use technology can create problems between romantic partners, potentially starting conflicts and dissatisfaction in the relationships. At 2014, Pew Research Center's poll indicates that 1 in 4 cell phone owners in relationships or marriage found their partner to distracted by their cell phone. Nearly 1 in 10 has argued with a partner about excessive time spent on the device. The Paul notes that many arguments between couples may have something to do with text use, such as deciding when to use device, when to abstain. They also found that younger users were more likely to report both increased tension and exchange closeness in their relationships are a result of. The two is distraction. Technology can be an effective distraction in the current moment over a long period of time and even in its absence, according to a 2015 poll of 453 adults across the United States. Nearly half of all respondents reported being distracted by their phones in the presence of a romantic partner. Those moments spent focused on technology can quickly add up to a sizable portion of a person's waking hours. The same allotment of time that just a few years ago might have been considered an online addiction is now commonplace in smartphone use, especially among younger users. It represents a shift in how people spend their times and where they focus their energy. Technology can also be distraction when it is not in use. When briefly disconnected from their smartphones in 2014, studies self-described heavy users indicates having higher anxiety level than moderate users after just 10 minutes. And the last, depression. Heavy use of social media has also been shown to negatively affect mental health. A recent study from the University of Pittsburgh's Schools of Medicine examined depression rates in younger adults, finding significant increased odds of depression among those spending the most time engaged in social media. Looking specifically at only personal social media activity, they conclude that heavy use was significantly associated with increased depression and highlights the importance of individualizing intervention for heavy social media users before they experience any mental health issue. The report also notes that multiple studies have linked social media use with declines in mood, sense of well-being, and life satisfaction. These declines could be related to FOMO or the fear of missing out, which studies have shown often inspired by social media use. The technology has allowed many kinds are television, computers, and cell phones. Television has advanced from blurry black and white picture to stunning high definition image with lifelike depicts, realism, color, and resolution. From being a very big and heavy box to become in a very thin device. Modern computers are very different from early computers. They are now very powerful machines that are able to do billions of calculations every second. Most people have used a personal computer in their home or at work. Computers are useful for many different jobs where automatic functions are useful. Some examples are controlling traffic lights, vehicle, computer security system, washing machines, and digital television. The technology have the other many kinds: telephone, telegraph, phototelegraph, and television signals are transmitted simultaneously over long distance over air, cable, and radio communication lines in which hundreds or thousands of independent communication channels are formed by multiplexing communication lines. The use of artificial earth satellites for long-distance communication is promising to compasses for signal attenuation, attendant, and unattended remote control. Repeater station or relay station with amplifiers for the transmitted signals are installed or some section of long-distance ground lines. For deep-sea cable, long-distance communication antennas repeaters with long service life are installed at certain intervals along the legs of the cable. Reliable continuous communication are ensured by the use of standby equipment and automated long-distance communication lines. The equipment for long-distance communication is very important. Communication takes place either through heliographs, signaling using a flashing mirror, electrical lamps, spotlights, color discs, and etc., or it is completed electrical by radio or by wires within the confined areas of the space station. In communicating with the ground, use heliograph signaling has the disadvantage of being unreliable because it depends on the receiver station on the Earth being closest. Therefore, the space station has at disposal large radio equipment that makes possible both telegraph and telephone communication with the ground at any time. Overcoming a relatively significant distance as well as the sighting effects exerted by the atmosphere or radio wave heavy layer are successful here after selecting an appropriate direction of radiation by using shorter direct wave and successfully high termination power because conditions for this transmission are favorable since electric energy can be generated in almost any quantities by means of the solar power plant and because the construction of any types of antenna present no serious problem as a result of the existing weightless. Personal relationships. We have able to look how passing the time the technology has effects human relationships. Now the world is changing and the people begin to communicate just for different types of device. Now we see families that don't spend quality time together anymore. Everyone has their life and nobody asking nothing. The concept of relationships and family is broad and varies from the person to person. What you mean by relationships is unique to you. But most people do think of a state of connectedness, especially an emotional connection. In our model, personal relationships refer to close connection between people formed by emotional bonds and interaction. These bonds often grow from and strengthened by mutual experience. Relationships are not static, they are continually evolving, and to fully enjoy and benefit from them, we need skills, information, inspiration, practice, and social support. In our model, there are three kinds of personal relationships. First is family. The concept of family is an essential component in any discussion of the relationships, but this varies greatly from person to person. The body of the census defines family as two or more persons who are related by birth, marriage, or adoption, and who live together as one household. But many people have family they don't live with or to whom they are not bound by love. And the roles of family vary across culture as well as to your own lifetimes. Some typical characteristics of a family are supports, mutual trust, regular interaction, shared belief and values, security, and senses of community. Although the concept of the family is one of the oldest in human nature, its definition has evolved considerably in the past 3 decades. Non-traditional family structures and roles can provide as much comfort and support as traditional forms. And two is friends. Friendships can be thought of a close tie between two people that is often built upon mutual experience, shared interests, proximity, and emotions. Budding friends are able to turn to each other in times of need. Nicholas and James, social networks researchers and authors of the books connected, find that the average person has about 6 close ties. Some have more and many have only one or none. Note that online friends don't count towards close ties. Research indicates that a large online network isn't nearly as powerful as having a few close real-life friends. And the last, partnerships. Romantic partnerships, including marriage, are close relationships formed between two people that are built upon affection, trust, intimacy, and romantic love. We usually experience these kinds of relationships with only one person at a time. The conclusion of this presentation, we have to take care of relationships. The world is allowing that technology take control of us, even when it's just part of evolution. We don't have to forget what are the things that really matter. That's all my presentation. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.